Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of the internet, that magical thing created by whom? You. We the people. We the people did it. And of course, it's being taken over, or not, has been taken over by our plutocracy. Folks, we have a lot to talk about today. And believe it or not, we're going to kind of start a little bit within that internet issue to cover a very important point this morning. But without further ado, we go to the geniuses in the studio, the folks who really make things happen around here. Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Well, good morning, Egberto. It is Tuesday morning at the radio, the 3rd of June, 2025. And speaking of internet, yes, we've been having some internet problems here. So therefore, you're not getting the full KPFT experience because of internet problems. And I'm solving them as fast as I can. So please be patient. Also, we're in Pledge Drive. When you pledge to KPFT, it covers things like better internet. How about that? So what did you have? Yeah. Listen, I don't have a rant today. In fact, I'm going to be going upstairs as one of our volunteers, Matt, has come in to do the phones this morning and learn things. So it kind of gives me a break to go up and do other things that are like scheduling and figuring out best equipment and such. So, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to say hi like a passing ship. And Jack, what you got, man?
Before Jack, Howard, are we on that your magical box again, or are we back to that kind of a thing?
We've been on that. We've been on
wow.
that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Almost a year now, and everything we have tried so far has not worked. And the leading communications company is wanting to charge us it's an arm and a leg to run some cables out there, and we are resisting. But we'll see. We'll see how that all plans out.
There you go, my brother. There you go. Thank you for all you do, Howard. I mean, the thing about it is when you talk about connecting the strings and the tin cans, folks don't understand how real that really is, that you do some magic to get this stuff running. Hey, folks, that's why you have to support us, man, because we've got guys like Howard out there making things happen in real time. Thank you, Howard.
Oh, yes. Well, okay. It would be better if I heard some wisdom from Jack, I think. Jack, what you got, man?
Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
Good morning, Jack. How you doing this morning, my brother?
I like your little AI tweet bit there. AI depends on the data it is programmed with. And I want to point out that AI has already been used to deceive. If the current crop of capitalists are allowed to exploit AI, it will become a clear and present danger to the citizens.
They're a clear and present danger.
There you go.
Without AI.
It's data in, if it's programmed right, it'll work, but if it's programmed to deceive, it will deceive.
Oh, okay.
Man, you nailed it, sir. You nailed it, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because it's actually a humongous issue, a real big issue that's occurring right now. But before I get started, and again, folks, you're going to like this topic because it's something that's going to affect all of us. But before I get started, I know that today we are honored to have the one and only, one of the best voices here at KPFT. Elise is in the house.
Hey, good morning, Egberto. Thanks for having me this morning. I appreciate it.
Buenos dias, and thank you for being here, my dear.
Absolutely. I'm happy to step in and help talk about Pledge Drive. I know we've got a goal to reach this morning, and we're about to get into the show and talk about all the topics and AI. I almost came in with my best AI voice just to see if you could tell if I was real or recorded.
I love that.
We're under threat by that type of technology, and KPFT faces its own technological issues as well, and its own threats. And so I just encourage everyone who's listening and makes the time every morning to be a part of this show, to do what you can to support free speech radio so we don't go away. 713-526-5738, option one, kpft.org. You can make your pledge of support there. I just did some math. $63,000 and some change is what separates us from our overall goal of $170,000. So we're well within striking range, but we've got to get warmed up this morning, get the phone lines rolling, and get your support now. 713-526-5738, option one, kpft.org.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Thank you so kindly again. As Elise said, we're in striking distance. And what I want to ask those of you that are listening now, we're going to get into a heavy, heavy topic, and it's going to be a fairly long monologue here. Not long, but a good sized monologue here. But I'd like to ask you to, can you start early today if you don't mind? You guys always leave me with my heart in my throat. Am I going to make my goal or not to keep this program on air? So, as Elise said, 713-526-5738. And what I'm asking is that you consider becoming a sustainer. That is $5 a month, or $10 a month, or $15 a month. $25 a month gives you a brick that leaves you in perpetuity at our station, or at $50 a month gives you an 8x8 brick. You can put anything on those bricks. Of course, Coffee with Egberto, $250. Or you can have as well our t-shirt, Politics and Right t-shirt, $100. All of this you can get by calling 713-526-5738, telling folks what you want, how much you want to give. And again, please be sure to say this was done under the auspices of Politics Done Right. Likewise, you can do it at the internet at kpft.org. Select the appropriate gift that you want for whatever contribution you're giving us. Please select Politics Done Right from the scroll down bar to get the program. Again, let's start early if you can. I ask you so kindly. Now, I last night while I was writing the show, I was watching after 11 the 11 hour with Stephanie Rule, and she said, "Oh, we're going to talk about AI." So that kind of changed what I really wanted to talk about, because I constantly hear the fears of AI, and it sort of upsets me, because we should never fear progress. We should never fear moving ahead. We should never fear our collective knowledge, all the things that we know. We shouldn't we should not be fearing these things. But we have learned in in our country to fear just about everything, including our shadows. That is how people keep control of you, right? Welcome aboard, Joanne from Los Angeles, California. Welcome aboard, Mark Fabian, Sabrina, John A, Alice England, Cheryl Elkins. Thank you guys for being here. So, one of the ways that you keep control of people is putting them in a state of fear. Donald Trump knows that very well. The way he have you fearing the immigrant, having you fear the other. I mean, you live in specifically the right wing lives in a constant state of fear, because if you are in fear, you're not really looking at that which is really harming you. How does that have anything to do with AI? It's all integrated, it's all put together. Now, when I just came to the country, the first place I went to school was a little school in Brenham, Texas, called Glenn College, and that is where I got came there, played some music there, but I was always taking up engineering. But I also I was a fan of economics, so I took as an elective an economics class, Economics 101. And that showed me, I guess, how stupid I really was in the thoughts that I was supposed to be, how economic system really works. I remember the first time I got called out by a professor was when we're talking about building widgets and supply and demand. I believe in supply and demand to some extent, right? If you have a whole lot of people wanting something, right, and to control how the price is going to go up if there's not an abundance of that something. But I mean, if you take a look at our society, what is the most abundant thing that we have on this planet? The most abundant thing that we have on this planet is water. In different states, we have fresh water, brackish water, salt water, polluted water, clean water, all of that. But we've got water. And it's not hard to clean water for consumption. But still, yet, we have been programmed into believing that it is something that is worth quite a bit of money. Sometimes we actually pay more for a gallon of water than we pay for a gallon of gas, a gallon of many things. We have been programmed to believe that this huge and abundant resource is scarce. So we have an economic system who knows how to use scarcity for a few amount of people to control. I want you to understand and get this concept real well, because all of this is going to, I'm going to tie all of this together. So again, water, you think about it, go around Houston, go around Minnesota. You're surrounded by lakes of fresh water, salt water, brackish water. To turn salt water into fresh water, you just have to do electrolysis, or you just do a little something to pass it through a filter that extracts the salt. And I mean, I mean, you can even extract heavy metals, all these things from water inexpensively, in volume. But somehow we have been taught to believe that, hey, bottle it up, put it into plastic, and hey, we got ourselves a product to make a lot of money. We let people believe clean water is scarce, and we jack up the price. So I told the professor, I remember we were talking, and he said, "What happens if people like a lot of this particular product?" And I said, "A lot of people are going to buy it from the factory?" He said, "Yes." I said, then the price should fall, because I only need to make X amount of dollars. And if I'm printing so much more of this stuff, this widget, I can drop the price. Professor, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. If it's scarce, meaning if a lot of people want it, that gets the price up. That's my first time. That's my first failure. Not realizing that making things seem to be scarce, even if you can make a lot of it, that you pay a high price. We can look at gasoline, we can look at petroleum, we can look at gas, all these different issues. Make them scarce. There was never a shortage of oil, ever. You have Venezuela swimming in oil, Saudi Arabia swimming in oil, the United States swimming in oil. All these places have always, I mean, it's not like we're making a whole lot of, we are making new oil. As precious, the truth of the matter is, as plants decay and animals die in the forest and all of that, eventually that makes itself into oil and carbon and all those things. But that does it on the millions of years, and we're talking about using the resources that's been created just now. So we created this shortage of oil, and we have this economic system that says if you can make something scarce, no matter how abundant it is, but you control people's minds, you control the news, you control all these things, you can give simulated shortages that make then you can jack prices up. So oil prices, we jack up all the time by creating false scarcity. Now, when it came to the internet, remember I said I would get to the internet with the dialogue with the how I come into the story, that I said you created the internet. We got all these things done with the internet, but then it was taken over by the plutocracy. I remember when, and again in the early 90s, I remember in the early 90s, as the internet was created, I was ecstatic. Not created, brought to the people. It was created with ARPANET much earlier than that. But starting with the World Wide Web and Andreessen and all these guys, I was excited. It was because the internet gave a certain level of anonymity, right? And as a person of color who understood that our industries had a whole lot of what should I say? It wasn't fair, right? I understood that what the internet meant. The internet actually meant that we have never in our history had a meritocracy. We have always had it where you had to be invited to the club. It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what race, ethnicity, none of that matters. We never had a meritocracy. When you go for a job, you aren't tallied up and say, I can actually do this job based on my merit. It was always a choice of somebody, not an absolute set of numbers that determine if you're going to have a job or not, but there were a whole lot of things that went into you getting that job. But ultimately, it was the choice of somebody, and these choices were not objective or meritorious. That's just how we've been. So when the internet came, I got excited. I said, finally, anonymity in what you can do. So if you learned the internet and you learned how to create a product on the internet and just sold it on the merits of it, then nothing else mattered. Whether you're a woman or a man, whether you're gay or straight, whether none of that mattered, because if you created something on the internet and however you marketed it or whatever, it would be based solely on merit. And for a while, that was the internet. That's how we got a whole lot of people going on there. I mean, even singers, a singer, you go to any church in the United States, and you can find some great people that know how to sing so well. They're singers, but when it comes to, I know a lot of folks in my wife's church that sing a whole lot better than Beyonce. But Beyonce was the chosen. Beyonce was the chosen. The record executives and everything, as they went through their stuff, they chose Beyonce. Not that she's the best singer or anything like that, but she was chosen. It is never and has never been a meritocracy. You know how we know that? When the internet came out, we had all these kids that went on and they sang and they did things, and people discovered them on their own, and they were discovered, and their YouTube drive, the amount of people that watched them on YouTube and Instagram and in those days Create Space and all these things, it created stars. It created stars because the internet was open. People were just using it to do things. And if you like something, democracy worked. Democracy made stars. Democracy made a lot of people into stars. And then the plutocracy started to do things with the internet, like throttling the internet, like making sure that the amount of bandwidth you got was based on how much you're willing to pay for internet. And then we had the big companies at the internet deciding whether they're going to give the search engines or going to give people the ability to find you. All of that was when capitalism jumped in to say, nope, just like we controlled water, just like we controlled oil, we're going to control the internet as well. And people that could just go onto the internet and become big stars, the magic of capitalism still said, only if we let you, only if we invite you. I can speak about politics done right on the internet right now. When you actually see this in action when something happens known as throttling, when the powers that be decide which streams on the internet are going to be throttled or not, which streams on the internet is going to get performative performance or not. All of this controlled by this great economic system that is overbearing, that doesn't allow true democracy in all these issues. Again, I hope you're following me from water to oil to perform to internet. And now we're at the stage. And this is where we come into the AI now. AI, AI, artificial intelligence. There's nothing artificial about intelligence. That's a magical word, we use it. All AI is the collective knowledge of all of us. All of us had input and have input and continue to have input into AI. Some billionaire pays a whole bunch of engineers to go ahead and copy, and you hear me right, and copy all of your brains. That's what AI is. AI is a bunch of billionaires that got a whole lot of people to copy your brains. And you know what? It could be that the government could have done that too, right? At no cost to all of us, just as our tax dollar investment. But we have allowed the billionaire to copy all of our brains. And I don't talk about just American brains, everybody's brains. How do we do that? We look at every record there is about you. We look at about everything that you have ever written, every book that ever been written. All of that is sucked into a database. And then engineers figure out how to take all that data and whatever you ask for, search that data, give you a response. And because computers in the aggregate are much faster than your brain, you can get that information rather quickly. So, what it means is, whereas a researcher needed 10 people to research a book that he's writing on international relations or whatever, you just put a query into a chat box and you get the response from that chat box. Research of 100 people done in a fraction of a second. That's AI. But again, all of us, and from the beginning of absorbable history, is absorbed into AI. So we are looking at the mass, what the masses, the collective has produced. Every time you write a text, every time you write something on the internet, all of that is sucked in to the thing. And now, what that means is for employment, white collar jobs, we don't really need as many of those researchers anymore. In fact, it'll eventually turn into virtual teachers. You'll soon have virtual teachers that come in and do quite a bit of things. Okay, and that is what's going to happen. I'm going to give a pause right now, but remember where we're at in the message. But I'm going to give a pause right now to go to Elise to do a little bit of pitching for the program, and then I'll be right back. Elise!
Hey, 713-526-5738. If you want to get in on the conversation this morning, it's option 2. Option 1, if you'd like to make your pledge of support and your financial donation to KPFT to keep this type of programming open, free, and available for everyone to consume, whether you're listening terrestrially over our FM signal, or maybe you're able to catch us online streaming at kpft.org. We're here for you, and we are your community radio station. Our only interest is in being able to connect you to this information, to this news, to these stories, resources that will help sustain and inform you and help you maybe think a little bit differently about some of the things that are going on in our world. This isn't fear mongering. When you hear us talk about this radio station and this resource being precariously on the line, we strive to be financially solvent so that we can stay on the air for you, to provide the space so that shows like Politics Done Right with Egberto, followed by Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman, and Conversations with Michael Woodson. Those are hours and hours each and every week, month, and year that we keep free and open for those types of conversations and information to be able to flow straight to you. And it's very important that we hold on to that ability. Without KPFT, without this radio station leaving the airways open to create this type of conversation, it's something that we will all dearly miss. And I hope that we don't reach that point, but it's definitely not fear mongering to say that this resource is in danger of going away without your support. Where do you stand? Standing on the sidelines is okay sometimes, but you do have to get in the game when it matters the most. And this is the time to be a part of KPFT, to be a part of saying, no, I stand for this. I stand for free speech, and free speech radio matters. In City of Houston, it's something that we have got to provide the ability to have Egberto tap into it, to have you tap into it as well. 713-526-5738, option one, kpft.org. We can't let this community radio station be affected by what's going on each and every day all around us. It's so unstable. We have the ability to sort of level this off and shore up the foundation of KPFT, stand together in the face of oligarchy and fascism and anti democracy. We can all get involved together and do this the right way. 713-526-5738, option one. Your financial pledge of support means everything to this radio station and more when you do it at kpft.org. We'd love to hear from you this morning, be able to thank you on the air along with Egberto. Take advantage of that coffee with Egberto for $250. The Politics Done Right t-shirt is $100. You can do that on a monthly sustaining basis. And when you do, an extra $50 goes straight to KPFT from an anonymous donor who is matching each and every monthly sustaining pledge with an extra $50. Please let us tap into that with your support now at 713-526-5738, option one. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Thank you so kindly, folks. And right now, I'm still at that good old donut. Don't want Sandy to be laughing at me with that big donut, that big zero. We need to get some, actually, we need to get some callers in to support the program. So please, please, at your convenience, preferably now, I still have another few seconds that I would like to pitch here and say, please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate. Please remember to tell them it's for Politics Done Right. Likewise, go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, select the gift of your choice, and again, select Politics Done Right from the drop down menu. I want to give a good shout out to Joanna from Los Angeles, Harry Denson from Missouri City. We also have Margaret Ryan. Thank you, Margaret, for being here this morning. And Lee the Bearcat is in the house as well with Mark, Ali, Curtis. Great conversation going on our regular chat. Likewise, I want to salute. Let's see. Mark KJ says, my family bought a large water filter and used containers. We never buy bottled water. Good subject to wake people up with. Thank you so kindly for that. LBW is in the house as well. She says, I am not concerned about the environment impacts of these AI and blockchain farms. I am most concerned. Yeah. And like what's happening in Tennessee with all the turbines to run that system, you nailed it. You nailed it. Marge KJ is from Chesapeake, Virginia. And let's see. Before I go to the phones, I need to finish the subject on AI, and then I'm going to take whatever calls we want. But at the same time, folks, please do remember, give us a call, support the program now as best you can. We kindly ask. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I stopped at AI. Well, let me restart here. AI is the collective knowledge of all of us. Right now, the folks most invested in AI at this point are these billionaires that are over here. I want to give a big thank you to Anand, our first pledge of the morning. Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly. We're now just about $400 away from our goal. You guys can really, really do that for me. If we have an angel, hey, that would be great. Could do it all in one swoop. But anyway, let me go ahead and continue with the votes with the AI. AI now, our collective knowledge is what AI is, and the billionaires are mining that. You know how we mine the oil, we mine the carbon, we mine all these things that are not in short supply. These things are readily available just for the person to mine it. Our economic system says we allow these billionaires who have capital to invest in mining that which belong to all of us, and they make the profit from the spoils. That's our economic system. I don't like it. That's the economic system that we have. There are other models for us to consider, but that's what we have. But whatever economic system we have, we should have fairness. The people mine oil, they mine water, they mine carbon, they mine iron ore to create steel, and now they're mining your brain. That's what AI is, the mining of your brain. And we have the capitalists again mining your brain. So after they've mined your brain to create these huge databases, these big forms that I think it was KJ was that LBW was talking about. These big farms of computers to keep your data and analyze your data, all of our data. That makes a lot of people obsolete. So there is a new product that these plutocrats are selling. So they sell it to me, they sell it to everybody else. Like, I am using AI so that as a one person media operation, the amount of research that I can do in one day and validating information. And by the way, AI isn't perfect. You still have to double check the data AI gives you, but it's massive. My one man operation is doing the work of over 10 people if I were to aggregate all the work that gets done through AI. It is really that powerful because all the people that are listening to me, are that powerful as a collective. As a collective, we are all powerful. And that's the magic that we're in now. And that's the magic that the billionaires are working with. They have the ultimate ore, the ultimate element, the ultimate material, your brain. And that's what AI is. Now, people fear AI. Why? Because remember what I just told you. My one man operation is working like a 10-person operation. Why? Because of AI and all these tools I'm integrated. So therefore, there are 10 people that otherwise could have a job that won't. Okay. So people are fearful because now it's not just the coal miner that is going to be searching for a job. It's now the people that we tend to give more credence to, more value to, that white collar worker. That's not me saying this, okay? I believe all work is valuable, all work is important. But they're calling they're calling it the DEFCON 1 now because it's affecting these people. Okay? That's not what we should fear. It's our economic system that has always allowed that to happen. From mining oil and creating false scarcity to now mining your brains and, creating another scarcity. But let's put it this way. What we need now is not a fear of our composite or collective knowledge. What we need is a change in our economic system that takes into account as we progress, we grow, we know more, and and in knowing more, we realize we can work less, enjoy our environment, enjoy our families, enjoy all of these things if and only if we democratize AI. And how is that done? Remember I told you we don't need a lot of people's jobs are not necessary anymore. The way it goes is if those people's jobs aren't necessary anymore, that means that the unit cost goes down. What that means is the profit margin of the plutocrat goes sky high because now efficiency has increased. I don't need as many people to do the same job. And who profits from efficiency? Capitalism has paid the plutocrat, the capitalists, they have always profited from efficiency. They have always gotten the spoils. We have created robots to make life easier. We have created the wheel, cars to make things easier. And at every step of the game, our current economic system has taken those spoils and given it to a few, not to all of us who created this stuff. We've used a patent system and I wrote a lot about this in my book. I can't talk about that on a 501c3 right now, but I've wrote about how the patent system and all these things were designed to make money for the few. You create a drug, and by the way, we are the ones that create the drugs. A capitalist capitalizes on that drug. That drug is tripled in price, and they take the spoils for something that we all created. And again, we've done it with oil, we've done it with water, we now are going to do it with your brain, unless we change our economic system, unless we create the laws that ensure that we have a true democracy on who owns your mind. And that is what we've got to control, folks. We have to make sure that as AI comes online, that the people don't work 40 hours a week anymore, because we don't need 40 hours a week. Maybe you work 20 hours a week and have all these people employed working 20 hours a week. Not that the spoils go to the rich person, the plutocrat. That now that we have machines that use our collective knowledge to do a lot, well, now we can do a lot less, but we still get paid. That is where we have to look. We don't need to fear AI. We need to put the right people in office, and we need to neuter those who are controlling our minds. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to jump to Richard on the line and start taking some calls. Richard. Oh, I guess I waited too long. Sorry, Richard. I waited too long to come to you. But look, this is a very, very important subject, folks. So, I mean, if you want to call now, the number is 281-823-7747. The number is 281. I'm sorry. Whoa. What am I? That was my afternoon number. Sorry. Number is 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Brian, come on in.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. What direction is the Democratic Party going right now?
I have no idea.
Downward.
That's a very good question, but right now I don't see the Democratic Party doing what it needs to do to show people like you and others that we are really going to be into this game to fight for the people. I just gave a very long monologue that I lost Richard in the process about the things that I think the Democratic Party should take up and be bold. Unfortunately, in being bold, they will have to go against a lot of the people that are funding them. But continue, my brother.
Yeah, it seems that they're not stepping on hard enough the murders that's going on between the left wing and the Jewish people and the illegal immigrants. We just had how many have died so far? Jewish people. How many? There was a girl just was run over by a illegal alien up at Lake LBJ.
Okay. Look, Brian. Brian. You should have a bigger mind than that. Okay. Here's the deal. It is easy to publicize what occurred where those 12 people got burned in Colorado. That's a terrible thing. That's an evil thing that man did. Those are good, innocent, dead. I mean, people that were harmed. They didn't get killed, but they were harmed. The 1,200 people that the Palestinians killed, the Palestinian terrorists killed in Israel, horrendous, bad thing. They're dead people, they're harmed. But also the 200 to 300 people that Netanyahu murdered in a genocidal manner in Gaza is also a horrendous thing. We should look at the death of everybody as being horrendous and terrible. You and I shouldn't be fighting about all these silly things that they want you to fight about to keep your eyes off of the ball. Continue, brother.
Okay. Well, no, the Democrats are not condemning it hard enough. What was
That's
it?
not true. Look, no. That is not true.
No, no. She just called the
Every
man white and burned those Jewish people. She
sir,
called him white. Yes
look,
or no?
look, sir. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to tell you one thing. Nobody condones what's being done that harms and kills people. Nobody does, and it takes your eyes off the ball. Brian, I'm not going to continue this, but I thank you for calling and being here with us. You have a wonderful day. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, brother Bruce. All right, Bruce will be coming in a second. All right, Bruce, give us a call back. Betty, come on in. We may be having a little technical. Yeah, there you go. Hi, Betty. Talk to me. Uh-oh, we lost you, Betty. Betty, again, we may have a minor phone problems. Call us again, and we'll get back. But while we take those calls again, I'm going to jump to Elise, get a little pitch in, and then we'll come back. But we're short $400. Please give us a call. Elise?
Yes, we definitely need to hear from some folks on the phone right now. Please call 713-526-5738. Option one, if you can, to donate to KPFT. We want to thank Anan in Houston for being our very first person this morning to get us rolling. And, what we could do is if we have, 3 or 4 people that can donate at the $25 a month level, that's going to equal about $300 a year for KPFT because we'll be able to tap into an additional $50 on top of your $25 a month donation. And then you can qualify for a brick. We have a courtyard outside of the studios at KPFT that we began laying bricks in, and it's become a little brick garden. And if you ever come by at 4504 Caroline Street and you visit the station, you'll see the lovely bricks that we've got there. And you can commemorate or, make a tribute to really anyone, any person, entity, maybe even a show on KPFT that means a lot to you. For just $25 a month, you'll have your very own 4x8 brick that will lie in our courtyard here at Caroline Street. And it's a lasting legacy. It's really unique and special. And that's for a $25 a month donation. $50 a month gets you a bigger brick, 8x8. You can put an even bigger image or message on that for us to have for everyone to see. So I know that you love to call and let your opinions be heard, and that's a wonderful thing. Think about maybe creating something that is even more lasting and permanent with your very own memory brick at KPFT. You can get yours now at 713-526-5738 option 1, kpft.org. And again, for $25 a month, we don't often miss those things. When we set them up to roll, that's something that you can do on a monthly sustaining basis that really is going to cause you no pain. You're not going to feel it very much, but KPFT will really feel and absorb the impact of your donation to this radio station. Tom Hartman and Grant Peoples are going to be coming to town for us on Saturday, August 9th. At Emerson Unitarian Church on Bering Drive in Houston. That's $60. $60 gets you a ticket to that event on Saturday, August 9th. You'll be with KPFT, Tom Hartman, and Grant Peoples. It'll be a soiree to remember. $60 gets your ticket into that event. You can get yours now at 713-526-5738 option 1 or kpft.org. Don't forget Politics Done Right. You got the t-shirt for a $100 donation. Coffee with Egberto, you get your very own private audience to talk more about the important issues, the ones that mean the most to you and your family. That's a $250 donation, and you can break up any of those pledges into monthly sustaining donations. And that's really what carries us through. Enough monthly donations, and we don't have to come on the air and ask for your support because you've already given it to us. Please consider supporting this show who gives you so much information and gets your day started each and every weekday morning with some of the best takes and some of the best news that you need for your life. 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org to make your pledge now. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Yes, folks, we need quite a few more calls in, so I ask you so kindly to do so. It's 713-526-5738, extension number 1. And again, the Coffee with Egberto, quite a few people accepted that this time around. So I'm going to be driving into Houston a few times to meet you. Why don't you be one of them as well? Coffee with Egberto, I guarantee you a good time, good talk. We have great time. So 713-526-5738, extension 1, or go to kpft.org. Again, a lot of different options, but we do need to make that at least $500 this morning. We're about $400 short. Betty, come on in.
Sorry, there was a mix-up there. Alberto, I was in the business for 23 years of electronics repair, and this is what I see. These supercomputers will have features like, God, did I see that? God, did I hear that? Wow, the takeover. We're going into phases now. Electronics companies are coming together, and it is so hard for me to see it gets in the wrong hand. We have to keep in the know. No slip up. Start the watch now. Put it in your brain so you can reactivate it, for it will be your gift. Love y'all.
Thank you, beautiful. All right, let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'll be kind of quick. It wasn't that long ago I saw a program on TV at Duke University. They were able to use Watson for cancer research. Something like 30,000 new papers are published every year, research papers on cancer, and no single doctor can read all those. They could take a patient's medical history, age, etc., blood work, CT scans, put it in there, and Watson could find out similar ones and find out the best treatment option available for the best success rate. That is great. What does worry me is that AI can also read every book there is on human psychology and psychiatry, and an evil person could use that to control people without them even knowing they're being controlled. By the way, how you know I'm not a robot? I'm done.
They're everything that you just said, Bruce, very true, and things that are concerning and things that we have to look into to put in some checks on. Patrick, come on in.
Well, I had to Bruce really fast. You can kind of work those advantages backwards. And the same way that we had Lavender and GoDaddy, you could have AI programmed to pick the most vulnerable people that are on insurance and have them die as fast as possible. And that would increase the net worth in stock. So that'd be something I'd worry about.
But wait. Guess what, Patrick? That is already being done. You know that, right? Insurance companies already. Yeah, go ahead.
I knew it was being done with rent and artificially raising market prices and things like that, which is another concern. AI is a race to poverty for most of us. And so if it's already happening, then that means that's the type of thing that has traction. And AI is being sold to us, and this will be one of the rare areas that you and I disagree. But when we have unfettered capitalism and we have billionaires that have the resources that they do, the same way AI is being sold to you and I, robotics was to us. In the 80s, we were going to be down to a 20-week work week, but that never, ever happened. Our work weeks increased as our production increased. So we won't see any benefits from it. I'd like to say that we would. I'd like to say we would, but I don't think we will.
Okay, first of all, Patrick, I still don't see the disagreement that we have there, because you're absolutely right. And that's why I don't know if you got into the beginning of my dialogue or not, the monologue or not. I started with widgets, then we went to water, then we went to oil, etc. You're absolutely right. Right now, our current economic system takes efficiency, and the people who get the spoils are the small amount of plutocrats. I also pointed out that we are not a meritocracy, but these are things that if we are educated, we can mitigate. And that's all I'm saying. I know so far it hasn't happened, but if it doesn't happen, God help us. But Thank you, my brother Patrick. Let's talk at 3 o'clock. This is an important subject.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right, let's go to, I think it's John that was next. Come on in, John. Okay, John will be next. You're on, John.
Yes, I just wanted to say that the implications of, an ever, growing economy that excludes most people will be, just a disaster. So, you have to look at the goods that it's producing and how those are distributed. And, Yanis Varoufakis, who was the Greek finance minister, came up with an idea that we would create a public fund that would generate enough capital for the rest of the public. And, that would be one way of democratizing the economy, because at the top, they're not willing to do that at all anymore. We have, all these billionaires that now they're in charge. They don't understand the revolution that they could create by disenfranchising economically the rest of the population.
John, I want to interrupt you for a second, because I just want to correct one thing. You said they don't understand what they've created. The thing about it is they have created nothing. It's capitalism. They have the capital.
Oh, right.
We all created it.
Say they own it. Right.
Go ahead.
They haven't created what was created by all of mankind.
Right.
Our culture and all the ideas that go along with science and whatnot. No, they haven't created it. They own it. So how do we mitigate that? How do we we have to have more regulation, and then also we have to own part of it ourselves, because
thank you.
Fortunately, at the level of government, which is the only entity that could take that on, they own that too, and they own the means of production. They own the airways. They own everything at this point.
Let me stop you right there, John. I must stop you there. I must stop you there for one reason, because I love where you're going with this. I love it. They own, which is true. Even they don't quite own the airwaves completely, because we still have KPFT. And by the way, folks that are listening, that is why we need your support, because again, to keep that going. So John, I got to go to some other calls, but let me just say this. I think you nailed quite a bit of important stuff there that we have to contend with. And my other thing is, if we can keep a piece of the airwave, if we can keep these things, we can do the most magical thing, and that is educate, because there are more of us than there are of them by orders of magnitude. And we have to learn that it isn't for, look, like I have somebody in the chat right now, what I call the enslaved mind, right? That said, this is their comment when we talk about the billionaires. He said, billionaires give the capital to create. But that person then asked the previous question, where did that capital that they got to create come from? And how did they get it? So those are the kinds of things that we are here to teach. But John, I appreciate your most intelligent commentary. Please keep listening. Tell folks about us, because collectively and expansively, that's how we make the change, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, sir. All right. Before I go, I'm going to ask Elise to come in, because I want to give a big thank you to Mark C. Mark C., thank you very much for your great contribution. Folks, we are $300 or so away. We still need to bring that in. Please give us a call now, 713-526-5738. Elise is going to pitch right now for a little bit. Guess what you can do? While she's pitching, you're not going to lose any of the program. John and Bobby, I'm coming to you. You're not going to lose any of the program, so you can call in while Elise is pitching, and we get right back to the subject. Elise?
That sounds great. Yeah, I won't take up too much time. I just want to make sure that we remind everyone that it is Pledge Drive. We cannot do this without your support. These are important voices we're hearing from on a regular basis. These are opinions and takes, and really important news that we get from our varied sources here. And we really appreciate everyone who participates in the show and listens every single day. It's no secret, and we see it around us, that the goal is loud and clear to eliminate this type of free speech and independent minded radio. Public broadcasting and public radio is under direct threat right now, and we're feeling it as well. As a 501c3, we are nonprofit. That means when you donate to KPFT, obviously you're doing something to help your community, and you're keeping the airwaves open for this type of important discussion. But it is also tax deductible. We can't afford to lose the valuable resource that is this radio station that only exists to serve you and the Houston community and beyond. With the free speech being under threat, it's something that you can do something about. You can take action now. You can be a part of the solution and not the problem when you give us your financial support. Call 713-526-5738, option 1 to make your financial donation. kpft.org is another way. Click the donate button, select your thank you gift if you'd like one, and then we get to tap into an additional $50 when you take your pledge and you stretch it out over a monthly basis. So if you want to do $120 to this radio station, make it happen on a $10 a month basis. We get an extra $50 from an anonymous donor just to boost up that donation that you're making to KPFT. And your donation means everything to us. We don't accept corporate underwriting. We don't have commercials on this radio station. We rely on you to help us. And in return, we feel like we give you help in your everyday life with music, with entertainment, with news, with Egberto Willies doing Politics Done Right. Please call 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. Make your pledge of support. Select your thank you gift. Let us know that you're listening. And please give us a message. We can see what you say or what you're thinking whenever you do it online or you make that phone call. Give us a message. Let us know why KPFT is important to you and in your life. Please do the right thing. If you can, we would love to hear from you today. 713-526-5738, option 1, or online, kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly, Elise. I want to give a shout out to Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. Thank you for being here. Lady Bearcat from Austin. And of course, Glenn Ryan is in the house. Glenn Ryan is in the house. Glenn Ryan is one who the last time took advantage of Coffee with Egberto. We had a long, it was a great, so many that we had to have more than just a cup of coffee. We had several cups of coffee, as I recall. Anyway, folks, look, very, very important. Let's go to Bobby. Come on in, Bobby.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing fine. Good morning, sir.
Roberto, I have a question for you.
Yes,
we
sir.
have the president of the United States. He's the commander-in-chief of the military, correct?
Correct.
So who are the people that tell, like, a sitting president, like, that he can't go to certain bases? Like when Area 51 was still a secret, who are the people that tell the president, like, no, you can't go there, sir?
You know what is so interesting? That is a very, very good point. And nobody should be able to tell the president that, right?
But he's the commander, right? And he's the commander-in-chief of all these bases, but he's not allowed to go. There's been and I know that I think it was Kennedy that warned about what's happening in our country. I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. The fact is that it seems to be a hand that's controlling the hand, if you know what I'm saying.
No, you're right. I don't disagree with you at all, sir. I mean, and I think I know who that hand is, but again, we have to, we can't just shoot blanks. But go ahead, brother.
Right. If we were all in a treehouse as kids, right, and we were all pitching in, like monthly dues to save up for something, and then our treasury guy says, "Oh, by the way, we're missing $2 trillion." Like, you would fire those people, right? But Rumsfeld, 9/11, mentioned $2 trillion that was unaccounted for from the Department of Defense. What I'm getting at is, I think we've been divided on purpose so that we might be arguing over these issues when there's actually bigger things at play that now we're not paying attention to.
You nailed it.
Trillions
Okay,
of dollars.
you nailed it. Sir, you nailed it. And we speak about that all of the time here. I don't know if this is the
All right.
first time you're in politics, then right, but we talk about the divide and conquer a whole lot on this program. Go ahead, sir.
All right. White House Office of Science and Technology Policy Director Michael Kratsios said that the U.S. has the technology that can manipulate time and space. He said our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space, and they leave distance annihilated. Anything on the surface of the planet is vulnerable to nuclear impact, asteroidal impact, wars. They have underground facilities. There was a lady that came out from the country's like housing development saying that they've spent trillions of dollars on underground facilities for the rich and elite so that these cases occur. So they're taking taxpayer dollars, building like all these. They've got maglev trains that are running underground inside of vacuum tubes, doing twice the speed
Hey,
of sound.
John, Bobby, I'm up for time right now, but I get where you're going, etc. By the way, there's a series called Paradise. When you get a chance, anybody look into it. It was a big underground city in a mountain after this big nuclear war. Something to look into. I mean, sometimes fiction emulates of the future, so who knows? Thank you, Bobby. Keep listening, keep calling. We'll talk, but I'm up for time. This is KPFT Houston. John? Line number 2.
Yeah, lots of coffee, you said, but you forgot one thing. Lots of aspirin, too. So I'm wondering something that I'm wondering that something that Bobby should be wondering about. Where did they take Gerald Nadler, those unidentified masked gunmen? Where did they take him after they barged into his office and kidnapped him, pretending to be law enforcement, pretending they don't need a search warrant or government or a judge's order? Where did they take him? Maybe to that secret location to interrogate him for being nasty towards Donald.
I don't think it was Nadler. I think it was Nadler's staffer, if I recall the story correctly.
Oh, well, they arrest and take away Nadler or one of his staff people. I'd like to know, is that person in the underground facility right now? And who's going to be the judge that says, you're guilty of being nasty towards Donald? What kind of charge is that, and what prison do you go to?
Exactly. I don't know, but there's a lot happening right now, and there's a lot that we have to do. And also, I have to go ahead and try to convince those with the last 6 minutes or so that I have to go ahead and contribute to KPFT. So,
yes.
Johnny, thank you so kind of my brother. All right.
Let them be convinced that they need more than Shipley Donuts and coffee. They need a radio station, otherwise we've got nothing.
Love you, brother. All right. Listen, guys. It is. We're going over a little bit, but we need to get some calls in. We've talked everything that we were going to talk about, AI, etc. So what we're going to do now is try to ask you kindly to really support the program. Let me just say, you heard what we had to say about AI. You heard a whole lot of our very, very smart callers and some of the stuff that I've read from the chat. I can't tell you how much but respect I have for the folks who are willing to get up at 6 a.m. to listen to the program, to be a part of this program. And it's something that is absolutely needed. The narrative that we give here is a narrative you're not going to get in the aggregate on mainstream media. And it's the aggregate that some people are willing to search around for. It's the aggregate that we put here and bring it on air. Very, very important stuff. When we had Patrick call in and he made the very smart statement about when robotics came in, they promised us the 20-hour week. It never happened. When all these other things came, they promised us this and it never happened. He's absolutely right. And the reason it never happened is that enough of us weren't informed. Enough of us bought the Kool-Aid that things could only work the way these plutocrats, these capitalists told us it's how it works. But we all know that's not true. Well, no, we don't all know it's that true. Most of us have been programmed to believe it is true. One of the things that we do here is try to create that narrative, to talk to folks, to let people use their own minds and answer their own questions, but give them the freedom to answer their own questions by planting the seeds that can grow. What I'm asking you is that you give us a call now at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org and contribute to keep this sort of programming alive. Allow us to do this work. Very necessary work, especially in these times where AI is coming to pass. If you haven't heard the whole litany of things that I spoke about in the monologue that for some went a bit too long, please go to the archives and listen to it because it is important information. But without further ado, let me jump to Elise one last time before we close the show down.
Thank you so much, Egberto. It's a pleasure to work with you, to listen to you, to hear what you do, and so much time and effort is put into it. We really appreciate everything you do for the radio station. And what we need is to hear from you, the listener, to support this type of programming. I think you can understand how important it is, no matter where you stand on the issues. You probably recognize and realize that this resource and this ability to keep the space open, to talk about these things, to bring this information to you is unique and special, and you definitely do not find this anywhere else. We need 3 people to donate at the $5 a month level to take us to our goal. $5 a month. Is KPFT worth $5 a month to you in your life? 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. Your $5 a month really comes out to what, $60 a year, but then we get to add an additional $50 on top of that to take us over $100 a year for your investment in your community radio station. We need 3 donors at the $5 a month level to take us to our goal for Egberto Willies and Politics Done Right. If you can help us out with that right now, we need to hear from you. 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. We're running out of time for this program. We'll change over to Amy Goodman soon. But if you love what you're hearing, maybe you don't love what you're hearing, but you love participating in this type of discussion, we need to hear from you. 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. Exercise your right to be free and independent of corporate influence and propaganda with us here at KPFT Houston. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Thank you so kindly. Folks, we can do this. I know we can if you give us that call right now. Remember, they're still open. Coffee with Egberto, $250 contribution. We also have the Politics Done Right KPFT t-shirt. That is $100 contribution. But again, as Elise said, $5 a month is great. $10 a month is what I do. I support a lot of other 501c3s, progressive 501c3s as well. So, I mean, a lot of you I know do a lot of supporting elsewhere. I ask you to add us to your repertoire. Try the $5 or $10 a month, whatever you can. And also remember, what you're really, really doing is supporting not just you. You're supporting enlightening many others as well. So we are helping ourselves by helping others, and that is how we need to look at so much, right? Collectively we work better, but again, it's not collectively we work better not just for ourselves, but for others as well. So please give us a call at 713-526-5738 with whatever you can afford, whatever you can give. Make sure to say it is for Politics Done Right so it will be accounted appropriately. Likewise, go to kpft.org. That is kpft.org. Select the donate button. Select whatever you want as a gift or whatever it is that you want. Scroll down to the Politics Done Right as a show you're supporting and give whatever you can. This is how we make change. I want to thank Howard Reynolds that above and beyond, he makes things happen. He gets us on air above and beyond, no matter what's going on. And Jack, our workhorse in the studio, making sure that things happen. And Jack, before I go, I think there's somebody else in the studio with you. Give me a closer, Jack.
Yeah, Matt, come over here and introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm
Hi.
Matt Velote, recent volunteer here. I'm in here this time of day to learn the board and answer the phones.
Well, look, I appreciate what you're doing, Matt. You're invaluable. Jack, give me a closer.
Oh, nothing here. Nothing here.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Folks, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what?